Good morning, students. Today, in current electricity, we will learn few important questions. That is, node, junction, Kirchhoff's junction rule, Kirchhoff's loop rule, and by using those Kirchhoff junction rule and loop rule, we see the condition of Weisstein's bridge. Because this is highly important question for the PUC second year. See one by one. First of all, see what is the meaning of node. A node is nothing but a point where more than two currents, if they are meeting, that point we call it as a node. Here, see here, I1, I2 and I3, and this point we call it as a node. This point we call it as a node, or the same term we can call it as a junction also. Call it as a junction. A point where more than two currents, if they are meeting, that point we call it as a node or junction. Next, mesh or loop. Mesh or loop. It is nothing but it is a closed path. It is a closed circuit of the electrical network. That closed path we call it as a mesh or loop. Now we see the Kirchhoff's first law. Kirchhoff's first law or junction rule. See here, both Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law, both are very important in electricity. Further also in engineering also, these two laws plays very important role for solving the problems and solving the currents. See first Kirchhoff's junction rule. Here I am taking one point. See here, in the diagram, point A is called junction because at this point more than two currents are meeting. Here you see how many currents are meeting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 currents are meeting. So more than two currents if they are meeting means this point we call it as a junction. Now what is the junction rule? Or Kirchhoff's first law. What is the Kirchhoff's first law? The algebraic sum of the currents entering the junction is equal to the algebraic sum of the currents leaving the junction, or sum of the currents entering the junction towards the junction is equal to sum of the currents leaving the junction. Now see here which are entering: I1, I2, I3. These three currents are entering, and which are leaving: I4, I5 and I6. So entering currents, some of the entering currents I1, I2, I3, and some of the leaving currents I4, I5, I6. So sum of the entering currents is equal to sum of the leaving currents. And one more thing, entering currents you can take it as a sign positive sign, and leaving currents you can take it as a negative, and total it will be I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5 minus I6, all are is equal to 0. So see here, at this junction A, entering currents are I1, I2, I3, and leaving currents are I4, I5, I6. Entering currents I can take it as a positive, and leaving current I can take it as a negative, but anyhow the total currents will be 0 at the junction. So if it is 0 means it cannot store any current, because the significance of this law is law of conservation of charge. You already know law of conservation of charge is nothing but charge we cannot create, charge we cannot destroy, only we can transfer the charge from one point to another point. So based on this one, the Kirchhoff first law is based. So once again, all of you recollect this one. Here in the diagram, A is the junction point. I already told you junction is nothing but a point where more than two currents are meeting. That point we call it as a junction. At this point A, three currents are entering, three currents are leaving. The entering currents I am taking as a positive, and leaving current I can take it as a negative. So I1, I2, I3 is entering, and I4, I5, I6 is leaving. So finally entering currents, total entering currents is equal to total leaving currents, that is I1, I2, I3 is equal to I4, I5, I6, and the total currents at this point will be, its value will be 0. See, Kirchhoff's second law or Kirchhoff's loop rule. Before going to the statement, first of all, I have to explain the second loop, then later we move to the statement. See, in Kirchhoff's second law, Kirchhoff's loop rule, now see the statement. The algebraic sum of the potentials and sum of the EMFs across the closed loop is equal to 0. Sum of the EMFs and sum of the potential drops across any closed circuit is equal to 0. The sum of the potentials and sum of the EMFs across the resistors in a closed circuit is equal to 0. Now, how it will be 0? Now, I will, using this diagram, I can explain. See, first I am taking the loop like this: A, B, E, F, A. A, B, E, F, A. I am following in this direction: A, B, F A. This loop I am taking because it's a loop. That is the reason the closest loop we have to take. So A B E F A is the one loop. B C D E B is the another loop. Now for the rule you have to follow few important rules. What are they? If you are traveling in the direction of current, then you have to take the negative sign. If you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, you have to take the positive sign. If you are traveling from positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal, you have to take negative. If you are traveling from negative terminal of the battery to the positive terminal, again you have to take positive. Now, by based on that one, now I can write the equation C. First A to B, nothing is there, but here current is I2, resistance is R2. Now I can write minus I2 R2. Here why I am taking negative? Because I am traveling in the direction of current, so that is the reason I can take negative. Afterwards E to F, nothing is there, then F2A. Here F2A, see here resistance R1 is there, but you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, so that is the reason here you can take the positive, that is I1 R1. Again from the cell here you are traveling from negative terminal to positive terminal, so that is the reason here you have to take the positive EMF E1, and all R is equal to 0 according to the statement. Now see, according to the statement, EMFs, this is potentials, these two are potential, but all R is equal to 0. Now our second last statement is valid. Similarly, I can apply this Kirchhoff's second law for this loop BC DE B. The same rules we have to follow. Say first B to C, nothing is there, but C to D, you are traveling positive to negative terminal. Positive to negative terminal means it will be negative, that is minus C2. Again you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, so that is the reason here it will be I3 R3. And D to E, nothing is there, and again E to B, you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, this one, so again here it will be plus I2 R2. Again all R is equal to 0. See here EMF potentials, but total value is equal to 0. Now this second law statement is valid. So here the significance of second law is law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy, the total energy must be conserved. Now once again see the statement and see the rules and regulations once again. See, according to Kirchhoff's second law or Kirchhoff's loop rule, the algebraic sum of EMFs and potential drops across a closed circuit in a electrical network is equal to 0. Now for this statement I am taking two loops. First loop A B E F A, and second loop B C D E B. Now I already told you, if we are traveling in the direction of current, then potential drop will be negative. If you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, the potential drop will be positive. If you are traveling negative to positive, EMF will be positive. If you are traveling positive to negative, the potential drop will be negative. So once again you see, in the direction of current, negative, opposite to the direction of current, positive. If you are traveling negative to positive, it will be plus C. If you are traveling opposite positive to negative, here it will be minus C. So these rules and regulations you have to follow. So based on these rules, now see, first A to B, nothing is there, B to E in the direction of current, that is the reason I have taken minus I2 R2, and E to F, nothing is there, but F to A, again you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, so that is the reason here I can take plus I1 R1, and again here you have to travel from negative to positive, so that is the reason here it will be plus C1, that is equal to 0. Now again here I can take one more loop B C D E B. Now B to C, nothing is there, but here we are traveling positive to negative, so that is the reason positive to negative means negative minus C2. Again here you are traveling opposite to the direction of current, that is the reason here it will be I3 R3. From this one, D to E, nothing is there. E to B. Now again, you are traveling opposite to the direction of current. So that is the reason here it will get plus I2 R2. So sum of the EMFs and sum of the potential drops across the closed loop, all R is equal to 0. So this we call it as a Kirchhoff's second law. Now based on this Kirchhoff's first law and second law, now we see the important derivations. There is Weisstein's bridge. Weisstein's bridge. Weisstein's bridge. Now see, this is very important question. In second PUC, almost it was given 6 to 7 times in the previous examination for 5 marks question. Now see here, in this Weisstein's bridge, we use Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law. Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law. Now observe the diagram and follow the rules and regulations and see the derivation carefully. See, first I have taken 4 resistors P, Q, R, S. These 4 resistors I connected in cyclic order. P is the one resistor, Q, R, S. 4 resistors I connected in cyclic order. Now, this point I can take it as a, this point I can take it as a B, this point I can take it as a C, this point I can take it as a D. Between point C and D, I connected one galvanometer. You already know the purpose of galvanometer is to measure the current. Between point A and B, I connected one battery of EMF E. From this battery, the current I is passing and entering this network. This network we call it as a Weisstein's bridge. Weisstein's bridge because it was invented by Weisstein scientist name. So that's why it is called Weisstein's bridge. Now, what are the rules we know? The Kirchhoff's first and Kirchhoff's second law. Now we have to apply carefully. See, the purpose of this resistance bridge is to determine the unknown resistance value. Suppose the 4 resistors are there, 3 resistors values you know, the 4th value, unknown value, that value we can find out by using this Weisstein's bridge. So 3 resistors values if you know, the 4th value if you don't know, that unknown resistance you can find out by using this Weisstein's bridge. Now, I am applying Kirchhoff's first law at point C. Kirchhoff's first law at point C. Kirchhoff's first law at point C. At point C, I1 current is entering, I3 and IG current both are leaving. At point C, which are entering, I1 is entering, I3 and IG both are leaving. So I can write like this. Entering current is I1 and the leaving current is I3 plus IG. This I can take it as equation 1. Similarly, I can apply Kirchhoff's first law at point D. Kirchhoff's first law at point D. At point D, I2, IG both are entering and I4 is leaving. I2 plus IG is equal to I4. This I can take it as a equation 2. This I can take it as equation 2. Now I am applying Kirchhoff's second law for taking two loops. Applying Kirchhoff's second law for loop, I am taking loop direction as A, C, D, A. A, C, D, A. You have to follow in that direction only. A to C, C to D, D to A. Clearly I told you, in the direction of current negative, opposite direction of current positive. Now first you see, if you are traveling from A to C, the direction of current is same. So that is the reason here you can get minus I1 P. From C to D, again you are traveling in the direction of current. That is the reason here you will get minus IG G. But D to A you are traveling opposite. So that is the reason here you can get plus I2 R. So that is equal to 0. Again, I can apply this Kirchhoff's second law for the loop C, B, D, C. Kirchhoff's second law for loop C, B, D, C. C, B, C, B, D, C. Now, once again you see C to B in the direction of current. In the direction of current means it will be I3 Q. B to D opposite means it will be plus I4 S. Again D to C opposite, that is the reason here you will get IG G. All R is equal to 0. So this equation I can take here as a 3. This equation I can take it as a equation 4. See, once again all of you see this equation 1, 2, 3, 4 how we got this, because this is the important thing. Once if you get these 4 equations, then you can finish the question very easily. So once again you say, I applied Kirchhoff's first law at point C. Which current is entering, which currents are leaving? I1 is entering, I3 and IG are leaving. That is the reason I1 is equal to I3 plus IG. Again I can apply the Kirchhoff's at point D. Which are entering? I2 and IG are entering, I4 is leaving. That is the reason I2 plus IG is equal to I4. Then later I applied Kirchhoff's second law for the loop A, C, D, A. In the way you have to follow. Starting point is A, again the ending point is also A. A to C in the direction of current. That is the reason I applied Ohm's law. That is V is equal to IR. I is the current and P is the resistance. That is the reason I got minus I1P, because it is simply nothing but V is equal to IR structure, because here P is the resistance. So here you got minus I1P. Again from C to D, IG is the current, G is the resistance. In the direction of current means you can take minus IGG. Again D to A, you are traveling opposite to the direction of current. So that is the reason you can take it as a plus I2R equal to 0. Now I can apply Kirchhoff's second law for the loop CBDC. Now again, in the direction of current, minus I3Q. From here to here, opposite to the direction of current, plus I4S. From D to C, again you are traveling opposite to the direction of current. So that is the reason here you can take it as a IGG. So finally, you got these 4 equations. See here one important condition you must know. What is that condition? Suppose PQRS, if all resistance are balanced, then the potential at point C and potential at point D are equal. If the potential at point C, if the potential at point D, if both are equal, when it is possible, if the bridge is balanced, then only it is possible. If the bridge is balanced, this PQRS, if the resistors are balanced, then only the potential at point C and potential at point D values are same. At that condition, if the potential at point C and potential at point D, if both the potentials are same, then there is no passage of current through the galvanometer. Then the galvanometer shows null deflection. Null deflection means the value of current Ig will be 0. Now that condition now I am using. If bridge is balanced, then current passing through the galvanometer will be 0. That is equal to Ig is equal to 0. If the bridge is balanced, then current passing through the galvanometer is 0. That is the reason Ig is equal to 0. If Ig is equal to 0, then again you can write those 1, 2, 3, 4 equations by substituting Ig value 0. See how I am writing? First equation, I1 is equal to I3, this is 5. I2 is equal to I4, this is 6. And same way here also I can substitute, this is 0. I can write I1P is equal to I2R, this is 7. And similarly I3Q is equal to I4S, this is 8. Then later you divide equation 7 by 8. I1P by I3Q is equal to I2R by I4S. See the derivation. Simply the bridge is balanced, the current passing through the galvanometer is 0. The current passing through the galvanometer is 0. This 1, 2, 3, 4 equations, in this equation Ig value 0. Then equation 1 becomes I1 is equal to I3, and equation 2 I2 is equal to I4, and this equation, this term becomes 0, and this equation, this term becomes 0. Now see, I1 is equal to I3, I2 is equal to I4. Now this term already becomes 0, and if it goes to that side, it will be plus. That is the reason directly I am writing I1P is equal to I2R, and here also IgG becomes 0, and this also it goes to that side, means it will be positive. That is the reason I3Q is equal to I4S. Then later what I have did, so divide equation 7 by 8. If I am dividing equation 7 by 8, I1P by I3Q is equal to I2R by I4S. Now here you already know I1, I3 values are same, I2, I4 values are same. So that is the reason if I1, I3, I2, I4, if the both are same, then you can cancel these two equations, and finally you can get this relation P by Q is equal to R by S. So this is the final conclusion that we get from the Wheatstone's bridge. This is the balancing condition of Wheatstone's bridge. The P by Q is equal to is equal to R by S, then the bridge is said to be balanced. If the bridge is balanced, the current passing through the galvanometer is 0. So this is all about Wheatstone's bridge. So once again, see the derivation, the equations, how it bridge is balanced, and final expressions. All of you see one by one. Here you see the AC to DA and CB, DC, and bridge is balanced. IG, if the IG is 0, see the one by one. Thank you.